On this week's episode, we discuss, do the Lakers have the best big three in the NBA? The Lakers' new organizational changes and the Lakers' NBA Cup Group B dominance. Here we go. What's up, everybody? Anthony from the Matter of Stats podcast here with you once again. Another week of Laker basketball, and here we are ready to talk about it. But before we jump into this week's episode, just want to remind everybody to check out the Matter of Stats podcast anywhere you find your podcasts. Check us out on Apple, Spotify, and make sure you hit that subscribe button here on our YouTube channel. So let's see. Pretty good week for the Lakers, right? Couple nice wins. They've won 6 games in a row. They're 14-4. They're undefeated in group play here in the NBA Cup. They actually have won Group B. LeBron is back. The big three is looking good. Lots of changes happening, especially in the front office. And we're going to get all to it right now. First and foremost, good week, like I said, for the Lakers. They've won 6 straight, as I mentioned, 14-4. Last 2 wins in Group Cup play, looking very good. This week, defeating the Clippers, as well as defeating the Mavs here at Crypto. And Lakers playing well with LeBron back in the fold. The offense has been extremely efficient and effective. The defense, it's still a work in progress, right? We know what that's all about. We know the pieces to the puzzle there just don't quite fit to create a defensive picture that's going to be effective enough to play with the likes of OKC. But right now, offensively, Lakers highly effective. And we mentioned this a couple different times throughout the week, but the Lakers might have and probably do have the best big three in the NBA. Luka, Reeves, LeBron. You want to pick your poison, switch your order around, who cares? But that trio is absolutely dominant right now. Coming into the game against the Mavs, they were averaging a combined 81 points a game. 81 points between those 3 guys. Luka's giving you 35 points a game. Reeves is giving you almost 28 points a game. And LeBron giving you 18 points a game. I think that might be the recipe for success here offensively for the Lakers is, Luka's obviously the head of the snake. He's gonna do the damage. Reeves maybe now becomes your number 2 offensive weapon, right? He's younger, a little shiftier, better 3-point shooter, gets to the cup, gets to the foul line, creates more. And then here comes LeBron, your big, dominant, enforcer type playmaker, run the offense, facilitate, score when he has to, bang down low, play high post, distribute the ball, play the 2-man game with him and Reeves. When Luka's on the bench, you can mix and match different lineups, go with all 3, go with variations of the 2. I think that might be the best option for the Lakers right now to kind of stagger it in that way where everybody kind of knows their roles. They work really well together as a trio. You can split them into 2s, and LeBron as that unbelievable number 3. You're talking about Hall of Fame, great, all-time, one of the greatest to ever play the game, multi-champion, multi-MVP, still a top 10 NBA player, and he's your number 3? That makes the Lakers very dangerous and very scary offensively. Again, defensively, totally different argument. We're not going to beat that horse too much this week. We do it every week. We know the drill. We know the scenario. We know the pieces of the puzzle. It's not there yet, and it won't be I think, until you make a few changes at some point between now and the trade deadline. But nonetheless, you're talking about three guys averaging 81 points a game. Crazy, but it's a staggering number. But 81 points a game is a big reason why the Lakers are playing the way they are and playing this well and dominating on the offensive side of the court because of those three guys. Now you sprinkle in DeAndre Ayton, who's giving you double doubles. Rui still playing well. Obviously, we talked about this a couple weeks ago when LeBron comes back, the piece of the pie, whose slice was going to trim down. Offensively, it clearly looks like it's Rui. His numbers have obviously gone down now with LeBron back in the lineup, back in the rotation. We talked about last week the changes in the rotation. A guy like Vando is basically out of the rotation. He pretty much hasn't played in a week. So you knew there were going to be some shifts and changes, a little less production from guys like Laravia and Smart. But the biggest change offensively has been Rui's numbers have taken a bit of a hit, which is understandable. He's still contributing, still giving you something, but not to the level that he was when LeBron was out. Still shooting the three ball very well, which is nice because the Lakers still struggle in that area. They're towards the bottom of the league in 3-point offense, but overall the offense has taken a major swing up with the return of LeBron, and you see it in the numbers. So it's pretty clear that, at least for now, it appears that the trio of Luka, Reeves, and LeBron can exist, and the coaching staff is finding a really good way of making them all be effective cohesively and when they're out there in different iterations of the three. And it's really, really helping the Lakers thrive offensively. And we'll see if they can keep it up. But, speaking of transition and iterations of things, the Lakers, obviously last week, made some structural or organizational changes. A couple more Bus brothers were let go. And this is not too much of a surprise. I think when the new Laker ownership happened and Mark Walters, took over, you were eventually going to start to see some changes, whether it was going to be in waves or subtle, small changes, drastic changes. Eventually that was going to happen. And that's pretty common, right? If, anybody buys a new company or a business, right, they're going to bring in some of their own people and make some changes. Obviously, you saw that happen last week. Jeannie letting go of Joey and Jesse Buss. They worked in the scouting department. And, it seems like they kind of did a good job, but I don't know how involved they've been overall, or at least lately, as far as the contributions of the brain trust or the decision-making process of the front office, or the roster or the draft picks. But they were let go. And you also saw, in conjunction with Mark Walter and Jeannie's decision to let Joey and Jesse go, they've also added the Dodgers brain trust of Andrew Freeman and Farhan Zaidi as advisors to the Lakers. Now, obviously, they are baseball guys, but they're very smart and very good at what they do. You've seen the proof in the pudding with the Dodgers, right? Under Andrew Freeman's tenure, they've won 3 World Series, 2 back-to-back World Series, obviously, as of late. And you've seen the infrastructure and how they've built that team, not just with the star power, but the depth, as well as the complete roster talent, plus the minor leagues. The Dodgers have a very good minor league system. So it's not just big money, big names. It's the whole package. The whole foundation from top to bottom is very well run under the Dodgers. It's very well structured. And it starts with Andrew Freeman. He's the brain trust. He makes all the majority of the baseball decisions, the big moves, the high-level moves. And he's not only built a roster that is dominant, but he's also built a very high-level farm system, one of the best in baseball. So it's not a surprise that Mark Walter, owner of the Dodgers, now owner of the Lakers, is going to utilize his guys, his geniuses, his brain trust, the power of his operation that's working with the Dodgers to instill some of those basic concepts and lay the organizational foundation, if you will, the infrastructure to start building within the Lakers. Not so much about baseball logic versus basketball logic or anything like that, but just the simple business structure of we have smart guys that know how to run an organization, know how to create, know how to work with a little, know how to work with a lot, and are just smart individuals when it comes to a wide variety of things. So it's not a total surprise that they're going to be involved as advisors. Now, to what extent, who knows yet, right? These are small changes in a big picture that's going to continue to evolve and continue to build itself over the next several years with the new ownership group in conjunction with Jeannie, right? While she's still, the governor and making, these type of decisions. She's still in charge on some level, at least, for now until that structure may or may not change. But it's not a surprise. You're going to see more changes like this. You're going to see more things to come as far as the infrastructure, but particularly as far as the front office, right? I think you're going to start to see this new ownership group really build out the front office in a much more strategic and robust process. It's very rare, obviously, to have a one-man show like we do now with Rob Pelinka pretty much being the only guy making all the decisions, doing it all on his own. So that's not common in the NBA or in most professional sports. So I think you're definitely going to see this front office become a little more structured, a little larger, more smart people in the room. And I think this is just the first step of that process, but a necessary and good one. And I think we're going to see more good things to come as this process continues to evolve and grow within the Lakers organization. So all that being said, right, like we said, good week, changes, good things happening inside, outside, front office, on the court. Everyone's playing well. Lakers are healthy. And it's showing. It's showing in the NBA Cup play. The Lakers 4-0 now after defeating the Mavs in the NBA Cup. They've won Group B. They actually won Group B officially the other night when they beat the Clippers. But now they clinched a home court game in the quarterfinals next week. They will host the Spurs in the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup play. So thanks to their 4-0 record in the NBA Cup, they get to host a quarterfinal game, which is nice, against the Spurs, a team that obviously the Lakers beat a little bit earlier in the year with Wemby, albeit it was a tight one, but they did pull that one off. That was with Wemby, without LeBron. It remains to be seen how healthy Wemby will be, if he'll be able to return or not for that game against the Lakers. But the Lakers do have LeBron back, obviously, so that creates a totally different dynamic. And this Laker team, as we mentioned, is gelling. They're 4-0 in the NBA Cup. They've won 6 straight. It should be 7 straight when they beat the Pelicans on Sunday. Hopefully, that should be a nice, easy home win. And they should be coming into that quarterfinal NBA Cup game against the Spurs with a ton of momentum, playing extremely well, and really flying on all cylinders right now, especially offensively. So a lot of positives this week for the Lakers. Good, a lot of things to be thankful for on Thanksgiving. And as we head into the holiday season here, as December is literally around the corner, Christmas Day, that's when the NBA really starts to heat up. And you really get a feel for what kind of club you have as you get into December and teams start to slowly develop their identity. And the Lakers clearly are establishing themselves as a high-level, efficient offensive team. And hopefully that defense will come around as the season continues to progress. All right. I think that wraps up this edition of the Matter of Stats podcast. As always, we thank you for listening. Please check us out anywhere you get your podcasts, and please make sure to go to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next week.
podcast.